So hopefully you have your guided notes in front of you or on your computer, and we're going to be talking about public speaking. We already know that there are basically four types of speeches: informational, demonstrative, persuasive, and entertaining. And of course, in our class, we focus on the first two, informational and demonstrative. But no matter what kind of speech you're doing, there's always three parts. There's the introduction, which is generally about 10% of your speech. The body, the largest part of the speech, which is 85%. And the conclusion, where you wrap it up, is only 5%. Now, where do you begin when you're preparing a speech? You obviously can't just start at the introduction because you don't even know what it is you're introducing. So in your notes, I'd like you to jump ahead to the body. It's number 4 in your guided notes. When you're preparing a speech, you have to start here by picking a topic, and it can either be a topic that you know a lot about or one that you're willing to research. If you aren't interested in the topic, though, at all, it's going to make it way more difficult to do because you're not going to even want to research it if it's something you're not interested in. So pick something that you're interested in and even know a little bit about. Once you kind of have a topic, you can start collecting information. So you compile a lot of notes, get your thoughts together, and then it's time to make a plan with the notes you have. And what you'll do is you'll start to notice that there's basic points or main points that are within your topic. So what you're going to do there is you're going to try to come up with, where we stick with the rule of 3, 3 main points. So you never want to have less than 3 main points in your speech topic because it's just really not enough to cover. That's not enough information that'll get you enough minutes in a speech. It's okay to have 4, but generally you want to stick with 3, but sometimes I know it just isn't possible and you might have 4 distinct main points, so that's fine, but you never ever want to go more than 5. So why is it? What's with the rule of 3? Well, basically when you have 3 in a group, it's just easy not to forget. So it's easiest to remember when there's 3. And that's why whenever you're giving information, you want to stick with that rule of 3. So within your speech, there's something that we call oral footnotes. Obviously, you're speaking, it's not something that's written, so that's where the oral part comes in, and it's where you give verbal cite, a verbal source from where your information came from. So you might say something such as according to. Maybe you read a book and there's some information there where you found out that according to Dr. Leo Grant, 80% of civil engineers work for companies that build bridges and roads. Or maybe you had an interview. So you have a source from somebody you interviewed and you could actually cite that person. The person you job shadowed, for example. And those are all credible sources. You want to stay away from sources that are not easy to be credible. And Wikipedia a lot of times is not even acceptable in college type courses for speeches. So we tend to stay away from them in your speeches you do for our class as well. So within your speech, you need to have at least 2 oral footnotes where you say according to from something you read, a person you read, or from somebody you have actually spoken with. And why do we do this? Because it builds credibility and it also establishes goodwill with your audience. When you use sources that you can actually cite verbally, you make your speech that much more credible. All right, and in the next few days, we're going to continue and we'll be talking about the introduction and the conclusion. But for today, we're going to stop with the body.